What did you think about that story last week from Kotaku, Jason Schreier, who was mentioned earlier in this podcast, about Google, in theory, getting into gaming in a big way?
We'll see. I don't know that it's anything indicative of anything major, other than reinforcing the idea that streaming is going to be pretty big next gen.
I'm really bummed out about the streaming future. If it works, great. I have no confidence in it delivering decent gameplay.
It's just people are getting ahead of themselves, thinking
so.
like, well, I need something for the future. Let's go with this.
I mean, it's great for the companies because they can sell games without having to impart anything. You know, like they don't have to give us anything to give them money to consume media. But I don't know what the value is for me, I guess, other than I get to play higher end games without having to buy a high end PC.
Right. Guarantee that they work.
Yeah.
Right. But in theory, if there's always another option, like even they talked about that Google's maybe talking about hardware. I think Kotaku had like 5 sources that like there's serious talks about Google getting into streaming.
I believe it's happening. I think Jason's story is good. And I'm not excited about that potential future.
Right.
Unless there's no way it's not a streaming thing.
Yeah.
For one of the options at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, the detail, and I think only one source mentioned this as like a possibility, but something that I got super excited about, and it actually ties back to DMC, is the idea of like, if you're stuck in a game, if you're playing through, you know, the equivalent of like if you're opening up a new tab in Google Chrome is what they mentioned, and playing high-end games through that, just through streaming. If you get stuck, you can just hit a button and then it will find a YouTube walkthrough video and overlay it exactly where you are.
That's right.
Isn't that amazing?
And you can pick your level of racism in that video.
I just love the idea of not having to scrub through walkthroughs anymore.
But like we think about, like we watched, you always have this good example of you're watching something on the Wii U and it had all the data on the screen, but you still went to Google to like look up the actors.
Because like the IMDb stuff was on the
like I don't see it and plus that option like exists in some games. Like you think of like Donkey Kong Country Returns, you could press a button to have the game take over and show you exactly what to do if you got stuck. I didn't use it. I would
think
still
for
see
different
myself,
styles of games, I think it would come in handy.
I don't know. I just don't see it being. I think I would be like, well, it would never. It just wouldn't be perfect enough for me to not just Google exactly what I want.
I think
phone.
that feature ties into sort of my overall speculation about this, is that it's sort of like the Snap feature on the Xbox, where it's like, it's pretty cool, you know, ideally to have like a second screen on your other screen, because, you know, people watch stuff on multiple screens, but I think people just like their own ad hoc solutions to that stuff. But overall, I think the streaming thing overall, I think is going to be one of those things where it's maybe sort of a larger version of what Microsoft tried to do early on in this generation. It's like, oh yeah, always online, like always cloud streaming stuff is going to be big. And I think people will push that stuff really hard at the beginning, and I think they'll probably get a lot of backlash to that and then pull back towards the later part of this.
It's going to be the exact same thing. And it'd be funny too if Sony just plays the exact move again of like, no streaming here. And everyone's like, yeah,
except this time they have to do it by like saying, hey, now it's downloading 20 gigs. And they wait around for those 20 gigs to download, and then they start playing God of War.
Right.
I will say, I do like the idea of Google getting into that mix of like
just to shake
hiring
things up?
Developers. Yeah, I like the idea of someone else entering with
Amazon's
the money of
before.
Google.
Well, that's the weird part. I mean, it's such an easy analogy to say and look at Amazon, and they were pushing, in theory, a couple years ago. I mean, they bought Double Helix, like the Strider team, the Killer Instinct team. They made the new ones. And then that we just haven't heard anything from that game since. They've canceled a game recently. They released the Amazon Fire, which I've never heard a single person talk about. Outside of like buying Twitch, Amazon in the gaming space, and there's the Lumberyard engine. It's just a zero. And so Google's bigger in theory, but I just don't trust Silicon Valley companies to go in a good way. And I don't like, they want to buy studios apparently. I don't know what company, after the example from Double Helix, would be like, yep, let's go.
Yeah, it's also, I think there was also like a while ago, there was talks of like Apple getting into the gaming space. It's like, oh, if Apple gets in the games, we're all screwed. And that nothing came of that. So like,
after Pippin, a post-Pippin world. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I hope that, especially if it starts like exactly when next gen starts, here's Google in the fray. I think that'd be fun just to shake this up.
I would love to be proven wrong about streaming. Like if it works really well, awesome. Like that would be cool. But I don't have confidence. And
all right. If it lags or skips or delays like once every half hour, it's trash.
Yeah, and I think people make the assertion like, oh, there's some games that, you know, maybe not fighting this, but I feel like any game, like if first person, third person, like where I feel like if I move, it takes a second too long. I'm just like, I'm done. Like even playing Detroit, like the how slow those characters move sometimes makes me want to throw my controller.
Yeah. Plus playing on PS Now, it's just like I can't stop thinking about it. Even if there isn't really that much of a delay, I'm trying to measure it in my mind, which is a problem for me.
Yeah, I understand. That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.